And welcome back, everyone, to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. On this Working Woman Wednesdays edition of the program, where we feature members of the organization here every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Time to bring in our next guest for the program. We have Coleen Sterns Leith, who is the president and founder of Marketing Matters, an agency working exclusively with small and medium-sized consumer electronics companies. For the past 20 years, Marketing Matters has been the agency of choice for companies like Bose and Sharp to launch new technology. And her team has helped take a startup company to $500 million in sales in 7 years and has won 61 design and publishing awards for the work they've done. So, Coleen, welcome to the program
Welcome,
today.
Coleen.
Thanks, Jamie. Thanks, Kelly. And
Congratulations.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. And I want to stress that it's Coleen, not Colleen. I'm sure you've been battling that your entire life.
Absolutely.
It is Coleen. I battle Melanie versus Maloney myself, and so I can definitely feel your pain. We often wonder why parents sometimes do that to their children with just a little tweak in a name.
A strange sense of humor sometimes, yes.
And nonetheless, though, but it adds unique to you, and
That's
so
true.
that's very nice.
Uniqueness can be good sometimes. At least it's memorable.
It's memorable,
You end up
yes.
with Kelly Wilson. It's not much memorable in that.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, if you're searching for a Kelly Wilson, there's probably an infinite number of Kelly Wilsons in the country.
If you tie something in to relate to your name, Wilson, like the basketballs.
True. Actually, growing up, my maiden name was Wood.
Right.
Was my maiden name, and my father used to tease me that he wanted to name me Holly, but my mother would not let him. So that would have been quite memorable. I'm very glad he didn't, though. That would have been torture growing
That's
up.
ironic you said that, because my parents told me had I been born a girl, my name was going to be Holly Ann. And so, yes, our parents thinking alike. And I, of course, went the other direction, though. So I am Jamie, so nonetheless. So, Coleen, tell us a little bit more about Marketing Matters.
Well, we are, as you mentioned, a 20-year-old company working primarily with consumer electronics firms. We use a Total World Domination approach with our clients.
I like that.
Total World Domination in the world as you define it, it's really pretty critical.
Well, tell us about some of the 8 mistakes, like the most common mistakes and you were just recently published. Is that correct?
Yes.
And
yes.
So tell us a little bit about the 8 common mistakes.
Well, some of these, I see these over and over again over the past 20 years. Probably one of the biggest ones I see is not participating in social media. I don't want to waste the budget. We don't have enough to talk about. My clients aren't on social media. Well, I bet you every one of them is on social media in one shape or form. A younger audience is going to be on Snapchat. Your older audience is going to be on Facebook.
It's hard to really try to gauge where all of your
Well,
where everyone you want to hit is.
Yes, but you can get a general idea of where your customers are. Even if you're a B2B business, it makes sense because we do business with people. It's not the entity versus, working with another entity. It's people working with people. And that means that relationships make a difference. And they make a difference in how you do business, how you do your customer service.
Do you see a lot of the businesses that have that attitude? I got this. I don't need any help. I've got this. I don't.
We do, honestly. I can do this, and yet they leave their sales folks without materials to work with, or their customers without the explanation and support channels that they need to really get that satisfaction from the product.
Are you introducing a lot of your clients to social media for the first time then?
In many instances, still, even in this day and age, yes.
Interesting.
Yes,
Well, then do some of them get on there, though, and use it for a completely different reason then?
Well, we typically
Get on there,
will
get battles
manage
with
it
people.
and keep a managed messages and content there. So
I
we'll
think
talk about relevant news and not let them wander off onto
Right.
political rants as you were discussing
Right.
just a few minutes ago.
Is marketing or social media, when you're looking at it from a marketing standpoint, is it different from a technology-based organization versus others?
All companies will follow the same core plan. You want to communicate your message. You want to share your story. So, companies without a story are kind of lost. They become unmemorable, and they're not able to form that strong bond with their customers. People want to know who they're doing business with. They want to know, just as you mentioned in your earlier segment, Jamie, who is this person? Is it, do I agree with their philosophies? Can I relate to what they're going through? Are they altruistic? Do they stand for the things that I believe in?
The big why of why they're in
exactly.
business.
So, if you're doing a Me Too, a fairly competitive product, and you don't have a story behind your company, chances are you're not going to be highly successful. because the only thing you have to compete on is price. And that's a quick downward spiral.
Yeah, definitely having a story and a why behind what you do definitely makes a difference, because people want to connect with people. They don't want to just interact. They want to connect, and then so many people struggle with that connection factor. And so that's a good point that you raise. Another mistake that you see companies make.
My product is so awesome. I don't need to market it because they will come. Those customers will come. It's like the Field of Dreams. Not so much. It really
That's a good
doesn't
movie,
work.
by the way. Yeah, build it and they will come.
It's a fabulous movie.
I like that philosophy,
and they did
too.
have success with bringing in their audience. But most companies who take this approach don't have that type of success.
And I think it's unfortunate too, because I think there's a lot of companies out there that could have fabulous products, but unfortunately their marketing isn't sufficient, so that everyone's not aware of what all they have to offer.
Right. Or what we commonly see is that the marketing is from the engineering department, and it's so technical and it's in such engineering terms that they're not clearly communicating the benefit of their product for the customer. So one of the things that we do in our Total World Domination methodology is a step called Simplify. And in Simplify, what we're doing is taking that engineering speak and translating it into regular human speak. Because the HDMI HDMI 2.0 444 color range.
Right, who understands that? Your typical consumer may not, or maybe
honestly,
they do.
Not even all the texts necessarily do if you're working with a B2B audience. So you need to explain exactly what it is. Well, this makes sure that you can get a full 4K signal, the full 20 by 24. And
what about helping your clients recognize their value points? Sometimes somebody may think that this is where the value is, but it's really not. It's more in this. How about recognizing value in their products?
Messaging is very important. Yes. So yes, what they may see as the biggest value, their clients see as very much a secondary or lower.
No,
value.
I like to talk about that with marketing people, because I was in KPI, as a matter of fact, and Corey Bergeron might have shared this story with you about the vacuum cleaner, because he was a pitch person at HSN, and years ago he was the new vacuum came onto the market that had a retractable cord. It was the first vacuum on the market. He didn't care about that retractable cord, so he was on HSN pitching this new vacuum cleaner, talking about its suction capacities and all this other stuff of different selling points of a vacuum, and the sales were hurting really bad, and he was like, man, I can't figure out why this vacuum's just not selling like it should. And somebody said, well, that retractable cord thing's really cool. And so he's like, all right, I'm going to take a different approach. So in the next segments, he would just pull that cord out and let it go back in, let it go back in.
I have a retractable cord. That's pretty cool.
Right.
Sales skyrocketed.
Yes.
He recognized the value point and the selling points of that vacuum until somebody said that retractable cord is what sells that thing.
That's why it's so critical that you test and measure. One of the we recently did a consumer mailing campaign with a client. So first of all, it's pretty hard to typically most technology products are sold through B2B channels, and some of them are really appropriate. The simple products are appropriate for directed consumer sales. This one's a little bit more on the complicated side, and it's not really a do-it-yourself product. Yet the owner of the business insisted on doing this consumer mailing. So my first advice was, let's test a few messages. You want to, because we were creating an offer then to a very specialized list. He wouldn't listen to me. He said, no, this is the offer. We're going with this offer, instead of doing a testing and measuring. And lo and behold, 0 sales from a $40,000 campaign.
Oh, wow.
So you really have to test those messages. The retractable cord may be the thing.
Yeah.
Whereas the engineers think it's all about
something else.
Something else.
Right,
No, I mean,
picture.
that's an important point to
The
recognize.
dirt bin or whatever it is.
And I find myself oftentimes being directed to things that nobody else cares about for whatever reason. So it's important to talk to other people
we each
about.
have our touch points.
Absolutely.
And when you have a lot of touch points, you can touch more people, right? So touch on all of them, and then that way you have a better hit.
Exactly. Different things will appeal to different folks.
Talking to Coleen Sterns Leith, president of Marketing Matters. Learn more at marketingmatters.net. And we'll continue the discussion with her when we come back from a break, talking about mistakes that she sees companies make with regard to marketing their products and their services. You're listening to the Working Woman Wednesdays edition of That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.
Hi, I'm Kelly Ham from Bill Meyer Ham Consulting. Did you know that one of the biggest challenges that leaders face is getting their employees to be engaged, motivated, and producing amazing business results? At Bill Meyer Ham Consulting, we'll help you transform your workforce culture from one that might be underperforming, maybe mediocre, to achieving amazing business results. You see, we realize that your workforce culture is equally as important as your business plan and your business strategy. The two must be aligned in order for you to reach your desired business and financial goals.
Carol,
Hey, Jim.
I just got this plan that could really help with our process here.
Okay, why don't you just have a seat and let's go over it.
Let us help you transform your workforce culture by leveraging your most important assets, your people. I want to know what's going on in your organization. Let us help you transform your workforce culture. Let's have a conversation.
I feel guilty that I can't always be there when Mom feels stuck at home. She was always there for us. But now she can't get out, and I'm not always available to take her places. Someone else needs to help her get around. Then I learned about Home Instead. Now Mom can do what she enjoys because her personal caregiver is there, and I can just be a daughter again.
Are you struggling to care for your loved one? We can help. Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
Winds Weather Center forecast. Sunny skies today. We'll see the temperatures warm into the upper 70s near 80 degrees. The mid-upper 70s for the low. 80 for a high tomorrow. Sunshine, low 80s Friday. Still looking at that front moving in Sunday, Monday. Getting those temps into the 60s for highs. Impact Radio, 1250 Winds, WHNZ.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly on 1250 Winds WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here are your hosts, Jamie and Kelly.
Hey, welcome back to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. We're here Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., and also video stream available over on TampaBayRadio.com. Also, please connect with us on social media, Facebook.com/That Business Show. We're on Twitter under my name, Jamie_Maloney, and then we also have a YouTube channel where all the high-definition videos are uploaded shortly thereafter the airing by the hour over at YouTube.com/Jamie Maloney. Currently talking to Coleen Sterns Leith, President of Marketing Matters, and learn more at marketingmatters.net.
Coleen, a little bit earlier we talked about some of the common mistakes that many companies make, and I know we went through a couple of those. What are some other imperative ones that we need to make sure that we point out that are important to know?
Kelly, a lot of times what we see are folks are overlooking the details. So they may have a really cool product, and they're not looking at things like their packaging. Are they explaining all the benefits? Are they showing how different uses of the product? Again, it goes back to that engineering mindset where they're like, okay, well, this can do these 12 things, but they're not explaining the benefits to the customer. So those.
And you have all these wonderful benefits. You want to make sure you're explaining them.
Absolutely.
Like what we
It's
talked
imperative.
about a little bit earlier, right?
And
Some of the value points.
Yeah, and you can't expect your customer to have the imagination to figure out how to use this. That's just kind of crazy.
How do you convince somebody who doesn't ever spend $1 in marketing and relies on word of mouth referrals to kind of spread their business to actually spend some money on some marketing? How do you have that conversation?
Well, if they're that dead set against marketing, they're not going to spend the money and they're not going to be around for long. So
because there are certain
5-year statistic that doesn't make it.
Yeah, there are certain people that aren't going to market. And
Right.
now if they have their own sphere of influence, like a real estate agent is a good example of that, they can usually survive on, referrals.
There's still marketing to those referrals.
They're still marketing the referrals,
still
but
communicating.
You have to build the referrals up too. So what are you doing
Exactly.
in the
so marketing is not
marketing.
necessarily
You have
just
to market
billboards and
first.
bus benches.
It's not all about advertising
Right.
by any means. It's building and that referral base. It's so that a marketing may be taking your top 5 referrals out to lunch,
Right.
and supporting those relationships. Marketing may be again that referral program where they're getting something in exchange for referrals.
Right.
It can also be your trade shows, participating in trade shows and becoming familiar with offering your product to a larger audience, be it trade or a consumer. So marketing goes far beyond just advertising. Advertising is, I think, the primary thing that most folks think about. It's public relations. Sending your news out to the local media or your specific audiences. That's really key. That really gives you that third-party credibility, and which is far more effective than advertising. So that's like one of the tools I highly recommend to anybody on a very limited budget. Look at public relations. You're going to get a lot more bang for your buck, and you're going to arm your sales folks, your referrals and such with good third-party neutral endorsements.
Are there any like hidden secrets in marketing where you're seeing clients have success? Maybe it's like billboards or bus benches or radio or television. I mean, everybody talks about social media, so remove that from the conversation. But are there some other marketing or advertising techniques where you're seeing certain clients have success that really aren't so mainstream or thought of?
Well, I'm a firm believer in the 100% marketing rule. Nothing works 100% of the time. It really doesn't. It depends on the company, their culture, their audiences, and are they national? Are they very local? A billboard in a small geographical area, billboards may work really well. We see this all the time with injury attorneys.
Right. I always assume that the billboard works for the attorneys because they're all over the billboards.
It must, huh? And buses, right?
Yeah, and then the real estate agents, real
well.
estate agents like to buy the bus benches and everything.
Right.
So,
right. So
I guess
those
that
things
works for
must
them.
be working, or they wouldn't continue to do that. Well, hopefully. Well,
right.
You would think.
What are the 5 steps to the total world domination, ensuring that we dominate where we need to?
Well, it's real quickly. We first start with identify, and identify is where you're really looking at the company and creating. If it's a startup, you're looking at creating your logo. Does it look professional? We worked with this company about 10 years ago, and they didn't want to spend money on a logo. They wanted us to do this specific project only. So they had their neighbor's kid design it. And Heineken at AOL.com, Heineken. And Heineken, this was awful. It was just a really awful logo. And we couldn't get credibility established for this company. They were trying to sell tech services to builders. But this was so hokey and it's so unprofessional looking. They never got the momentum they needed. They really set themselves up for failure by not investing in a logo. And investing in a logo doesn't mean $10,000 either.
I did mine just through, I used 99 Designs for mine. I did a little contest and took a couple weeks, and I was it cost me $300.
Fiverr's another. Mm-hmm. It may not work exactly. You may need to use a few different designers to get that professional look and feel. And even if you're working with the higher end agencies, logos, we do a full logo package for around $1,000.
Yep.
And it's, your business card design and all those other things, because you really need to be consistent in that look and feel as well.
With those sites like Fiverr and 99 Designs, it's important to recognize the more money you put out there, the more people that are going to participate.
If you have a good, exactly.
You can dictate how much money you're going to spend.
Exactly. Yes, you're going to get higher quality for not going with the bottom of the barrel.
And you also got a word of warning about that. You also got to be careful because there are a lot of people that will plagiarize some other person's design and put it up there and say, "Oh, here's your design." So you got to be careful on those sites.
It'll cost you even more later to get that.
Yes.
Yeah, just some word of advice or word of warnings on those those sites and everything.
Yeah, you definitely have to be careful with that. So then number 2 would be.
Well, even a little bit more on identity. Identity is even identify your processes. Are you taking care of your customers? What's your customer service policies? We work with the client. We're engaged with them for public relations and social media only. And their customer service is awful. People don't answer the telephone. They don't respond to emails quickly. So lo and behold, guess where all the customer inquiries and complaints and such go to? Social media. So we're fielding this stuff on Facebook all the time. And if they simply put a really strong, clear
message
right. on their website or on with their products, whatever, it would really make their customers a whole lot more loyal and feel satisfied. And on top of it, this customer doesn't have a story. So, it's an uphill battle without using those tools.
So it's definitely important to do that.
Yes. And then to your earlier question, simplify is our next step. So, I mentioned I work a lot with technology companies, primarily in consumer electronics, and that engineering speak is killer. And so, simplify is taking that messaging and turning it into human speak.
And that can relate to any industry. I know I've been scolded, I think, a few times from mentors that have tried to look at, I could say 20 words when I really could have just said 2 or 3 to really say what I needed to say. But sometimes you can be too wordy and too much. Simplify.
Yeah, I think
simplify.
Twitter,
I hear that all the time.
And Twitter's been a great tool. Get your message down to 140 characters. My first 3 or 4 tweets took me about 15 minutes to write.
I'm so challenged with
And now-
Twitter. That's one of the reasons I don't participate much on there. I get cut off. Matt Ashwood's still working with me on that.
Yes,
so.
you really have to learn to put a very succinct message together there.
Yeah, I just give up after a while, and I get
Definitely.
frustrated. So so simplify. So then step 3.
Well, step 3 is called toolify. And
Toolify.
toolify is where you know who you are, you have your policies in place, you have your story developed, you've simplified your messaging, you've got those customer service processes in place. Now it's time to create those tools to share with your audiences. So in B2B, you're going to need your brochures and point of purchase displays, those sort of things for your distributors, your B2B partners. If you have a consumer direct product, you're going to need something that makes sense.
So all of the tools necessary, really,
Exactly.
to do your
so
business.
that's your
and see it
brochure, your
through.
website, and such. Then once those tools are created, you have your opportunity to amplify that message. And amplify is using your digital marketing, your campaign buys there. It's your public relations. It's your social media messaging and posting.
Getting the word out.
Absolutely. Any and every way. Trade shows. There's tons of ways, different approaches and strategies that you can use to amplify that message.
How long does one need to commit to a marketing campaign to say yes, it's working or no, it's not working?
Depends on the campaign.
And consistency is key, right? So you can't always
Absolutely.
just say put a certain time amount. You need to see it through.
Well, because some
Well,
people will go on social media, they'll send out a tweet and, nothing happened. I'm not going to do that again.
Well,
You gotta-
obviously, don't tweet that kind of message, and maybe you need to make it a little bit more compelling.
Or they'll put
and-
up a billboard, nobody called that day. And,
Yeah, right.
well, that's not working.
Yeah,
Let's
it
take
probably
it down.
takes a little longer.
That's
than
what I'm
a
saying.
day,
So is there any rule
definitely.
of thumbs to committing to a marketing plan?
Well, and there's different resources, right? Where you're going to be doing a branding, or you're just really branding and trying to build your name and the
Versus a-
awareness,
right?
versus
a product launch or
and
a
expecting
service
immediate
launch.
phone calls or
With a good
contact.
product launch, you should start getting immediate phone calls. So, I know we nailed it with the press release if the client's getting calls about that product immediately. We had a client who we recently launched a trailer hitch mounted TV mount. So for tailgating.
Oh, good.
Trailer
goes-
hitch mount. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, it goes into your trailer hitch and you can mount your 50-inch TV. A lot of the trucks have
That
the
sounds
outlets
like a
in the
necessity.
back. So
That's
talk
not a bad
about the
idea,
ultimate
actually,
in
yeah.
tailgating, right?
Yeah.
Well, they really the management wasn't so crazy about the product, thought it was silly. We killed it on social media and public relations. We had so many placements and so much excitement about that product that went into production.
Did you launch it right before the football season kicked off? You try
yes,
to
it
time,
was
and that
August.
I'm sure it
Yeah.
is imperative that you try to time
Absolutely,
it
timing. Yeah.
with something else going on. And
Yeah, because football is certainly the prime tailgating season.
so then number 5 would be tweakify.
Weekify, yes. And this ties back to your last question. Test, measure, and adjust. So we've had this campaign out. Is it working effectively? Digital marketing ads are actually my favorite because you get results pretty immediately and you're able to say, oh, okay, these keywords aren't working. These are. And literally within hours, days, you can make some major adjustments and really improve the effectiveness of those types of campaigns. Something that's in print, like the billboard that you mentioned, Jamie, that's going to be a little more challenging because you've committed to 30 days minimum.
Right. I figured I can't put them up, take them
but
down
at
same
least
day.
at the
but
end
yeah.
of that 30-day period, you can go back and evaluate how many calls did we get from this.
Yeah, the electronic ones, though, now, you can probably take those up and down the same day, but I imagine.
Well, they're contract.
They're
terms
still 30
involved,
days
right?
minimum.
Like it's
Well, the
handled
artwork
somewhat like
created
print.
to get
put
it up there
right.
would.
But the electronic, to your point, is a little easier than doing the print. So
Let's take a break here. We'll continue the discussion when we come back. We're talking to Coleen Sterns Leith, president of Marketing Matters, and learn more at marketingmatters.net. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.
How many times have you said to yourself, I wish there was an app for that? Stop wishing and start making the world better. Turn your brilliant idea into a profitable business by using Popcorn apps. Their affordable app design will help get your blue sky idea or proven business to the next level at a fraction of the cost of other developers. They will help you get through all the steps needed to make your thoughts become live. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
Teresa Turner is a certified public accountant and the founder of Tax Happens, a boutique-style CPA firm providing small businesses and individuals with hands-on, personalized tax and accounting services. Although we would love to tell you how happy their clients are, we would like you to see for yourself. Tax Happens has 21 Google reviews and a 4.8-star Google rating, 17 Yelp reviews and a 5-star Yelp rating, 38 Facebook reviews and a 4.9-star Facebook rating. What sets Tax Happens apart is number 1, upfront pricing, 2, clear deadlines, 3, personally available year-round, and number 4, a willingness to empower clients to do as much or as little as they desire. Visit taxhappens.com for more information.
Have you ever tried to buy a home for your family only to find out that you don't qualify for a mortgage loan? You thought that after 20 years as a customer of your bank, they would help you when you needed it the most, right? Unfortunately, the banks of today are not the banks of our parents and grandparents, and our relationships with them just don't matter anymore. My name is Frank Cotto, and I'm the president of the Lincoln Lending Group. We all may need a bank, but we also need a Frank, and that's what I'm here to do for you today. Lincoln Lending Group will waive all of your lending fees, which include your mortgage, application fee, your underwriting fee, processing fees, and any bank points. Just call 813-MORTGAGE. You drop the E, and we'll drop the fee.
In an age when the good and the better vie for attention, it is the best that stands out. The best of Tampa Bay from Proudly Florida is the love story for the city of Tampa, celebrating success, sharing achievements, a tribute to enterprise and community spirit. Let Proudly Florida showcase your business to your city, your nation, and the world. For more information, email info@proudlyflorida.com and be sure to visit proudlyflorida.com.
Did you know the biggest challenge business leaders face today is creating an engaged and productive workforce culture? Bill Meyer Ham Consulting wants to help you solve this challenge. They will help you transform your workforce culture to produce amazing business results. Call Bill Meyer Ham Consulting at 941-201-4650 today or visit billmeyerham.com. That's billmeyerham.com. Have a conversation.
I knew Mom wanted to stay at home. It's the center of her family, her life. But helping Mom stay in her home while managing mine was just too much. Honestly, it wasn't just about me. Mom didn't want me to be her caretaker. She wanted me to be her daughter. I felt so alone until I found out about Home Instead Senior Care. When we met the people at Home Instead, we just knew they were different. The experience was personal. And most importantly, for Mom and me, I get to be her daughter again.
Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
At Vein 911, we will help you feel great again. Do you have restless legs, night leg cramps, or ankle swelling? Restless legs, cramping, swelling, and tired heavy legs are often symptoms of hidden vein disease. You do not have to have visible bulging veins to have the symptoms of vein disease. The vein care specialists at Vein 911 are uniquely qualified to evaluate and treat your veins. Are you unhappy with your previous vein treatment? Vein 911 succeeds where others fail. Call Vein 911 today at 855-VEIN-911. That's 855-834-6911 to book your free consultation. Vein 911. We will help you feel great again.
Serious crash in Countryside on southbound McMullen Booth. Approaching State Road 580, the right and center lanes are blocked here, and traffic is backed up to Curlew. Also, we're seeing heavy traffic on southbound 275 in Tampa from Fletcher Avenue to Hillsborough. The exit ramp to Hillsborough from northbound 275 is closed due to a crash. You'll have to use MLK or Sly. See traffic problems, call the injury firm of Abrahamson Uterick Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Lead Safe America. More than 1 in 3 American kids has lead in their blood. No level of lead is safe. Lead poisoning causes learning disabilities and behavioral disorders. Has your child been tested? Learn more at leadsafeamerica.org.
Mostly sunny, high 78. Clear and chilly tonight, low 58. Tomorrow, plenty of sun, high 80.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here are your hosts, Jamie and Kelly.
And welcome back to Working Woman Wednesdays on That Business Show. Now with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. Talking to Coleen Sterns Leith, President of Marketing Matters. Learn more at marketingmatters.net. And Coleen, as we approach the end of the year, most companies are starting their plans now for 2017. What are some of the tips that you have for us in creating a marketing plan?
Well, your marketing plan needs to support your overall goals. So if your goal is to raise revenue 20% next year, you need to break that down. What do you need to raise revenue? I need 2 new sales folks. I need 84 new customers. And really break it down to specifics, because the more specific it is, the more you're able to pursue those specific elements. It's like, how do you eat that elephant? One bite at a time. So you really want to get granular on how you're going to take these approaches. And you'll see pretty quickly if you need to tweakify, it's our official term, some of those methods as you're moving along. But start with something, have something there, and start working towards it.
And you can also probably look at like where you are as far as this year. Like where did you come out in 2016?
Right.
Now that we're wrapping up the end of the year, did you hit all of your goals? You know, what can you do better for next
year? Do some of them make sense to carry over till next year?
For somebody that's just entry level and wants to do a marketing plan, doesn't want to spend or doesn't have the money to spend on, actual marketing, but just would like to have some type of plan to get off of the ground, are there any good template sites or places where they can go to give some type of structure? Because I know, like with some people, if they don't even know a format of writing a marketing plan, they don't know what to do.
It doesn't
How
have
would you
to be
advise?
that formal. Sure, if you want to do a formal one, I never bother with that myself. I'm a spreadsheet kind of girl.
You just call Coleen and get with Marketing Matters, and then you wouldn't need all of that.
Absolutely, that works.
At what point in a company's growth, though, do they begin to introduce a marketing firm into the development?
Well, you can use a marketing firm at any point.
Right, but it's usually not a cost.
Start up with, looking at building your identity. You can use it, like we work with companies just on campaign basis as we need your help. Like, for instance, with Bose and Sharp, we launched their first custom install products into the smart home, basically the smart home industry on the B2B level. And so those were campaign. We still do campaign work with different folks. So just because you work with a marketing firm doesn't mean you need to marry them. It can be dating, and that works just fine.
Dating works?
Yes, dating works. You'll still be able to accomplish your goals. And the way to succeed in that is to just make sure you're really clear about what your deliverables are. So, for this amount of money, what are you going to get? And have it clearly spelled out so that you really can make check marks at the end of the campaign to measure if it was a success or not.
And how important is it to have a plan and a strategic strategy?
Well, you have to have some sort of plan. Otherwise, it's kind of like saying, I'm going to go to Washington, D.C. and never use a map. And you're going to end up in Albuquerque. That may not be where you want to be. Well, so it helps to, have some, plan that direction and have some sort of tools in
some
place.
kind of roadmap.
Yeah,
to know where you're going.
And so you've worked on over 200 product launches. How much time goes into a typical product launch? And of those 200, have you ever had any that just failed miserably and you knew why, or have you honed it down to really know what makes a good product launch?
Well, the time to spend on it varies depending on the product. Is it a product that nobody's heard of before? That's going to take a little longer to raise the awareness about the category. What is this thing and what does it do and why do I need it? Versus a product that's people are already familiar with, a new brand of Kleenex, a new, something that folks, and.
But if properly marketing, though, you've done 200 of these. What have you learned over and over again, though, from all these product launches? Is that you just got to be clear to the client as to what you
take the time to put the plan in place. And if you have a limited budget, look at what are the most critical activities that need to be met and focus on those rather than dwindling that budget away without, you got to go with your nothing's 100%.
What's most cost effective?
Right. What's most cost effective based on your priorities. So it may not be the least expensive activity, but it's most cost effective because it's going to better help you get that launch and get that awareness.
It'll have the most value.
Now, when you're using your firm as a marketing firm, how do you measure metrics of success? Because it's always difficult to know where the different leads may be coming from. For instance, if you put up a billboard or a bus bench, you're doing social media, how do you
There's so
give
many
feedback?
cool digital tools available. It's a whole lot easier. So even for a billboard, use a Google number so that you can track exactly how many calls came in on that specific line.
And this is all part of your service package when people work from
absolutely.
you. Because
Yeah.
I often wonder, how do you measure, if this is working or
You
that's
can build
working?
in, different phone numbers, different URLs. You have landing pages that are specific to a product launch. You can measure the number of hits there. You can measure increased traffic to your website. You can measure the number of placements you've had in the media. You can measure the number of times people are mentioning those things as in your discussions. Right. So it does take some. It helps to put those we like to put some metrics together ahead. Our goals are to reach blah 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 blah, so that at the end of the campaign you can measure that success. Or we
and all of those tools are pretty easy between the hashtags and kind of the taglines and even phone numbers.
It just takes a little bit of thought and just a little bit of planning. Again, going back to that marketing plan.
All right. Coleen Sterns Leith, President of Marketing Matters. Learn more at marketingmatters.net. So, Coleen, thank you so much for being in studio today. Good discussion.
Thank you,
Jamie.
For being here.
Thank you, Kelly.
And we're wrapping up another edition of That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly. Want to put out a reminder there for the event going on this weekend, November 18th and 19th, Roger Salam's event, The New Paradigm of Real Estate Success. He gave a brief presentation on that two-day seminar yesterday at our HUD training class. So highly recommend that. We do have a free ticket available. So if you'd like to attend that event, please send me an email, jamie@tampabayradio.com. But if you're a real estate investor or looking to get into real estate investing, you definitely want to hear his talk on the new paradigm of real estate success. So that event is going on November 18th. That's this Friday from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. followed up by Saturday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Marriott West Shore Hotel. And again, I do have an extra ticket to that, so please send me an email, jamie@tampabayradio.com, and then we'll get you set up for the event. And again, the new paradigm of real estate success. Also, learn more about this program over at tampabayradio.com. If you'd like to get onto the program, visit tbsinterview.com. Again, tbsinterview.com. And please connect with us all across social media, facebook.com/That Business Show, and also on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jamie Maloney. And we also have a Twitter that we use quite frequently, Jamie_Maloney. So again, I appreciate all the listeners checking in to the Working Women Wednesdays edition of the program. And if you're wondering how to get on to Working Women Wednesdays, you got to talk to Jessica Rovelli, and you got to be a member of her group. So go through Jessica Rovelli to learn more about how Working Women Wednesdays work. You've been listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.
Happy birthday, Jamie.